So my samples are all set and they're all done spinning, so we're just going to look at the leftovers, which is going to be my serum in my red top tube and my plasma in my light green tube. So I'm looking at the samples, and I'll show you a close-up in just one second, but it looks like the samples are pretty transparent and clear. I'm not noting any hemolysis or any lipemia. It's not icteric at all, so I'm pretty happy with the results. So my serum, pretty clear in color. If you can see, yeah, and then my plasma sample, pretty clear. So I'm just going to transport them with a pipette into clear tubes that have no additives. So I'm just going to take off the top on that one, take the top off of my serum, and I'm just going to gently take the pipette, making sure not to go towards the clot or the separator substance. And I'm just going to collect it and put it into my tube. Okay, so I'm done with that pipette, so I'm going to throw that one in the garbage, put my red top tube back on. Okay, and I'm just going to label it with the patient and the date, and I'm going to write that it's a serum sample. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing with my plasma sample. Take my pipette, put it in the bottom of the tube, throw out my pipette. Make sure the lids are on nice and tight. Get rid of that one. And again, I'm going to label it with the patient's name, the date, and I'm going to say that that's plasma. Okay, so again, even in these tubes, you can see the samples are pretty clear. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. And just as an example of, I had another blood sample from another patient of an example of what it would be if it was had some hemolysis to it. See how it's like reddish in color? So hemolysis happens when there is breakage of the red blood cells. So with this sample, it could have been maybe the patient was a little wiggly and you know the needle moved around in the vein a little bit. Sometimes it can happen if we drop the sample, if we shake it. Also, if someone were to put the needle into the tube when they're collecting it and they press on the plunger as opposed to letting the suction happen on its own, those are all things that can damage the red blood cells and cause hemolysis. So that's an example for a serum hemolysis. And then there was also a plasma hemolysis as well. See, a little red in color. I couldn't find a sample today, unfortunately, of what lipemic would look like, but lipemic would basically be a result of a patient eating shortly before having the blood sample taken. So it's going to look similar to, you know, your normal serum, but it would be really pink in color. It would have like a milky appearance to it. It would look a little thickened. And again, that's the fatty contents of the blood being spun down as a result of the patient eating pretty close to having the blood drawn. Again, with my samples, I don't note any hemolysis or any lipemia. And then another thing you can also look out for is if a sample is icteric, so it would be a yellow in color, and that can be a result of elevated liver enzymes. So if we ever see a sample where, you know, a patient has some icterus or yellowish color to the serum or the plasma, that's concerned. So we mentioned that to the doctor as well. So that is how you complete task 1 with preparing a serum and plasma sample.